Oh, good morning and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making fillet of pork, so hopefully this will be something you can manage. As you can see, my sound didn't work here, so I've had to do voiceover, so it doesn't really match my lips. Anyway, we're going to start by looking at the ingredients. This will go quickly, but you can pause, and I'll also send this to you via email. So if we start to have a look at the ingredients, I think one of the important things is to buy good meat. You get what you pay for. And then it's good if you prepare the veg first, so that makes it a lot easier when you're going to prepare it. The soy sauce is important. Make sure you've got Chinese soy sauce and not Japanese. Cream, I try and use as little as possible, but it's good to have a bit of cream. And I use flour to thicken up the sauce, so I use wine and So with the green peppers, you've got to make sure they're roughly mixed up. You don't want to have big peppercorns there, because that can be too strong if you get them in your mouth. And this is a bit liquidy here because the peppers come in a kind of vinegar when you get them in the shops. So just make sure they're roughly done like that. So I've now prepared all the vegetables and I'm ready to go. Got all the ingredients ready. So I'm heating up a pan here, a high-sided frying pan, which is large enough. And I'm going to start frying the onions and the celery. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to just tidy up the meat to get rid of the fat, which is kind of hard fat. You can leave some of the fat, but I want to get rid of the tough stuff. So the onion has now got a bit of colour. So what I'm going to do now is just put the meat in there, which I've cleaned up, getting rid of the majority of the fat. Put in a bit of butter and the other bit of meat. And then I put in the green peppers. So just whack most of that in there. And just spin it, turn it all around. Then on to the next stage. So now the fillet's getting lightly browned, I can add the celery or the bacon. This is a bit more healthy option I'm doing today with celery. So just going to mix that up for a couple of minutes, just so it gets a bit more colour. And just make sure that it's not too hot, so it should be a medium temperature. We don't want everything burning here. So the celery's been on for a couple of minutes now. And what I'm going to do now is just gradually add some mushrooms and gradually add some zucchinis like that. Mix it all up and then just keep adding those for a couple of minutes. If you don't have space, then yeah, you've got to take less mushrooms and less zucchini. But don't forget, the water is going to disappear from these, so there'll be more room later on. Well, everything's reducing nicely now. So this has been on for about 10 more minutes. So just going to make sure the mushrooms and the zucchini are reduced, and then we can start doing a few other things. As you can see, there's quite a lot of liquid in here, so we've got to get rid of that liquid first before we'll add some flour and then some liquid, so to start making a sauce. But by adding flour and just water, then we're making it a bit healthier, rather than just adding loads of cream and loads of wine, which we'll also add. Okay, as you can see, most of the fluid is now gone. There's a little bit left, but now I can add a knob of butter, like that. And what I'm going to do now is add some flour. And the whole idea with this is to thicken up the sauce, but without using too much cream, which is not so good for you. So add the flour and spot more, that's about enough. And I'm going to mix that up and then I'll add some liquid water. So the flour's now been absorbed by the butter. And then squeeze in about a tablespoon of tomato puree. And then I'm going to put in some red pepper powder, and then I'm going to put in some Dijon mustard like that. Yep. And I can put in a bit of Chinese soy. Okay, make sure it's Chinese and not Japanese. It's a big difference. So like that. And then I'm going to mix it all together. So I forgot to say it's important to add water at this point. So make sure you're adding a good bit of water. So we're starting to get a sauce. So that's all being mixed up now. Quite a bit of fluid, but I need more fluid, and for that I put in some red wine. A good cupful of red wine like that. And then I'm going to mix it all up again, and then we'll see what it looks like. So that's thickened up nicely. It's perhaps a little dark, but when we add the cream, that will lighten up quite a lot. So what I'm going to do now is going to remove the meat and cut it into slices, and I'll do that diagonally, so we'll have a look at that in a second. So I've removed one of the fillets and I've cut it diagonally. I can see the meat is still a little bit red in the middle. That's fine. It just means it doesn't need to have too much longer in the pan when I add the cream. So I'm going to cut up this one and then do the other one, and then add everything back to the pan again. So I've added the meat back to the pan. It's all been sliced up into about 1/2 centimeter slices, quite long ones. I'm going to add a oxo cube, and then I'm going to start to add the cream. The thing is with the cream is not to let it boil, too long. So put in some cream like that, and they're going to mix it all up, and then we'll see where we are. So we've been just bubbling away very on low medium heat, and we're going to taste it and see what it's like. Usually the green peppers I have are quite strong, so stronger than probably are in the UK. Yep, so maybe we can add a little bit of salt, bit of pepper. I'll do that, and just a little bit of sprinkling of oregano like that, and maybe a spot more wine. I haven't used much wine. I've only used not even a glass, so just a bit more wine, a bit more cream, and I'll put some more salt and pepper in there, and we should be ready. So I've been making food about 1.5 hours now. That's including kind of preparation time. It is easy if you prepare everything. You cut all the veg up first. So now we're going to taste it, and the rice is almost done, so hopefully we should be there. Alright, let's see what it tastes like now. So I've added a bit of salt and pepper, a bit more red pepper powder, and I've added oregano and a bit of basilica, and a bit more red wine and a bit more cream. As I don't boil too much, because then you get problems with the cream. So let's taste it. Delish. That's perfect. That's perfect. So we're ready to go there now. So just lower the heat and just wait for the rice to finish off. And bon appetit. Okay, so I've got some rice. This is more the healthy option, and everything's done here. So let's put it on the plate, and we can see what the cameraman thinks. There you go. A bit more meat. Voila!